Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You have a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Start time. We know what we got to do. Stay the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after Jensen will count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag is going to end it.
Does he have enough? A dominant performance.
You're gonna say no, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can in one final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Alrighty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Redemption iRacing Series here on Memorial Day weekend. Just getting ready to get these cars off and rolling. We'll go down the starting lineup quickly here. Row number 1, we have J.M. Browder, Kenneth Lowry to his outside. Row number 2, we'll have Xavier Rugglebruggy and Joseph Smith. Row number 3, we'll have Aiden Lucas and John Crosby. Row number 4, we'll have Christopher Stange and Ryan Haller. Row number 5, we go back to Jordan Hand and Dylan Carrier. Row number 6, we'll have Noah Blackwell and Cody Blackmore. Row number 7 will be Lucian Thomas and Michael Badra. Row number 8 will be William Connolly and John Tiller. Row number 9 will be Dallas Seward and Ben Nitz. Row number 10 will be Joshua Nunez, rounding out the field there in that final position. 150 laps here tonight. These guys will have a caution at lap 8 for Kyle Busch and have a moment to remember him. But right now, green flag is in the air. We're off and racing. Going to come across the line and lead lap number 1 here. Kenneth Lowry working on that second place with Jaden Browder and Xavier Rugglebrugge, and 3 wide for a moment as well down the back straightaway. That's the 5. Xavier making it 3 wide on the bottom. 73 car of John Crosby up top. Those guys going to get it sorted out here off the exit of 4. And they'll come to lap 3. And now I apologize, we didn't get to go over a whole lot of the race details here beforehand. I unfortunately had my mouse kind of like die on me when it was time to start the stream, so I had to fix that quick, but we'll go over some of those things here in just a moment. Like we mentioned, these guys are going to have a caution at lap 8 here for a salute to Kyle Busch, who unfortunately we have been talking about that a lot these past couple days, and you've heard the passing of him, and so some of these guys trying to run some tribute paint schemes to him. The 34 here, Aiden Lucas running one. We saw Xavier run one as well, right up in the front of the pack. So a lot of these guys trying to go out and win for Kyle Busch here tonight and try and leave off with where he was, and that's just going ahead and parking it in victory lane. Lap 5 in the books, coming to lap number 6 here at the line. Smith continues to lead over Lowry and Rugglebrugge, who are trying to figure out this second position and try to determine which one of these drivers is going to be able to get that spot away from one another. It looks like Lowry is going to be able to take that second position away, and Rugglebrugge now going to be under pressure from Jaden Browder back here for that third position. Crosby maintaining 5th as well, having a good run so far here tonight, and one of those drivers that we kind of thought would build on momentum here is this second place of Kenneth Lowry. Right now, I mean, after a great start, he's had early success in the season, and then kind of had some bad luck at Texas and didn't get the finish that he wanted at Chicagoland, and Portland came around and it really looked like he's able to kind of carry some momentum back forward with that 35 team. So it'll be interesting to see what Lowry can do out here tonight. And right now we're going to get that caution for that salute lap to Kyle Busch. again, the unfortunate news with what happened with Kyle Busch here just a few days ago. A lot of these drivers trying to run a tribute paint schemes and honor him as best they can. I know a lot of these guys looked up to Kyle Busch, and a lot of these guys probably spent a lot of their childhood admiring him, and unfortunately the racing world lost a good one. And thankfully we'll have a lot of time here in the future years, these upcoming seasons in real life and in this league in general, to be able to remember the positive things and remember his legacy that he left for us, and as well continue to watch his son Brexton come up through the ranks. But we're going to go ahead and get these guys back, set, ready to take the green flag once again. Smith leading the field into the restart zone. A little bit of tire spin for Lowry on the outside. They're going to be fanning out. Green flag back in the air. Lowry falling back after those troubles right there on the restart, back to 11th position already and under fire for that spot as well. So a bad restart there by the 35 of Kenneth Lowry, setting him back here. He's got Xavier behind him, and I apologize, it sounds like I'm having a bit of audio issues here, and I'm hoping it'll sort itself out. Holler in the 19 here, working that high side around. Jordan Hand trying to put himself in position to get Aiden Lucas, who is in front of him. Now the cool thing about this weekend and what these drivers bring, and like I said, unfortunately a lot of these guys having to run the Kyle Busch tribute team because of what happened, but these guys also running patriotic schemes to show their appreciation for all those who have served on this Memorial Day weekend. And 150 laps here for these guys to be able to put on a heck of a show for you guys out there watching. And I mean, we've got battles going on all over the racetrack here. Carrier trying to hold off Lowry, who had those issues on that restart just a few moments ago, looking to try and make up some of those spots. He's got his hands full though, because he's got the 81, I believe, in that M&M's 18, Noah Blackwell. I know it shows 18, but I believe that is the 81 in Noah Blackwell. So Blackwell putting pressure on both those drivers. The 61 Evolution back there as well, getting into the wall a bit, losing a bit of time. Now going to be under pressure from Connolly, as well as Michael Badra. Oh, more contact with that wall again. And we've got a car who's been able to save it. That's the 66 of Ben Knights. These guys trying to fight for this 10th position back here Carrier able to hold strong for the time being, but he's got Stewart all over his back bumper. Carrier running a bit higher. And the 81, no, Blackwell's going to help him out here and open up that door for himself to maybe move on through to that 10th position and take it away from Stewart, who currently has it. And Lowry, Ryan Holler up front with a little bit of issues, and I think that's Connolly. He's going to go for a slide down the back straightaway. No contact. Maybe a little bit of a kiss, able to keep it going, but the field's still green. We also saw Ryan Holler there get out of shape for a second, able to hang on to it. He had to go down the back straightaway, and a little bit of more contact with that outside wall right there. Not quite sure if maybe some of these drivers are having a little bit of issues with the heat cycle, because we did stop at that lap 8 mark. That could have cooled down the tires a bit and kind of given these guys, even though it's not a long time to really cool them down and go through a whole cycle, it could definitely play a factor into how these tires are going to shape out here. And now we got another spin, and I think that's the Xavier hitting that inside wall. Some contact, no caution. No caution, able to keep it going, but another spin here off the exit of 2. And I'm wondering if maybe these guys are actually having more issues than they anticipated again. I mean, that's the second or third spin that we've seen in about the last 5 laps off of 2, and now Xavier all the way back, 22 seconds back behind the race leader. Definitely going to have his work cut out for him. So unfortunate set of events right there for Xavier Rugglebrugge, who has been able to capture the 2 previous weeks with getting the win, and now Joseph Smith having his own issues getting to the wall a bit there. But Xavier looking to make it 3 in a row here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now having that spin going down a lap, he's going to have some ground to make up here. We do have a stage at lap 75. Remember, we do not see a stage caution. We continue to go green flag racing, but that'll definitely hurt Xavier, and the more time Xavier spends on pit road trying to get maybe some of that damage fixed, the more this is going to hurt his chances at possibly going for the race win tonight. He's more than likely going to need to probably see a caution if he goes down another lap, and it looks like he's still sitting on pit road. So Xavier Rugglebrugge off to a rough start here in tonight's race. Smith, Browder kind of put themselves at a bit of a gap between the rest of the field. Stange back behind, and I think we got another car who possibly is going off track. That's the 61 of Dallas Stewart now in contact here. The 38 and the 84. A slide, a spin, and able to hang on to it, and now it looks like they'll be able to collect it and keep going. And then up at the front, we got a battle for the race lead off of 2. Side by side, down the back straightaway. Browder, Smith going at it. Smith trying to hold his own on the top side. Browder using the bottom side to his advantage. He'll be able to clear over Smith off of 4, but Smith going back for the crossover down the front straightaway. Side by side once again going into turns 1 and 2. Smith now has that bottom side, but Browder able to use that high side and get a good run off the top. He'll now clear Smith for the race lead and take that race lead from Smith, who has been leading for quite a bit here early on in this race. Now Browder looks to set his sails and put distance between him and the 31 of Joseph Smith. All right, let's go ahead and take a look back here and see what happened with the 38 of Dallas Stewart. So the 61 hit the wall off or two, which kind of jumbled these guys up to have a 3 wide moment. The 38 and the 84 got together. Then they were able to save it. I think the 40 of Joshua Nunez accidentally piled into that as well and received some damage. You see right there some more contact being made, and I don't think Nunez is really at fault. It's just you can see that whole right side is pretty much knocked out of that race car, and Nunez now sitting 3 laps down on pit road, I believe, still trying to fix some of this damage. But I mean, you can just see how pancaked that right side is, and that car could possibly be done for the night. And the other driver we talked about too was Xavier or Rugglebruggy, who is still sitting on pit road, 7 laps down, currently going to be coming around to be put 8 laps down, which at this rate, I unfortunately think his night is officially done, and he probably will not be getting out on track. Cody Blackmore also on pit road, who received damage with the 38 of Dallas Stewart there. Sorry, I had to think of that. And Blackmore having some heavy damage. Gonna need to spend some time behind the pit road wall before he can get back out on track. So a lot of early incidents here for these drivers, not having a caution yet for any of them. We did have that caution to give Kyle Busch the salute at lap 8, but then other than that, I mean, these guys, even though we've seen some wrecks, they've been able to really keep it put together for the most part, and we have yet to actually see a caution come out for a racing incident. Which is a little bit surprising. I mean, some of those wrecks look like they're pretty hard contact, but I mean, if they're off the racing surface and they're out of the way, then I don't really think there is too much of a need for a caution. But I know these drivers definitely were hoping to probably see a caution, and now it's really kind of shaking this field up and spread them out by quite a bit. Holler getting pressure from Lottery here for this 9th position. That's going to move Kenneth up into that 9th. Ryan back to 10th, so Ryan will hold on to that last spot before the stage before we get the end of the stage. Obviously, it's still a bit of a ways at lap 75, and we're only 34, coming to 35 laps into this race, which, if Ryan can hold on to it, he'd be able to get some points, but he needs to be able to continue doing what he's doing and just really set some decent lap times down. He's got 27 of Tiller, a few seconds back behind him, not really having a whole lot of pressure for the time being, but again, still a long ways to go before we see that stage as well as the checkered flag. So things off to a rough start here for some of these drivers. Other drivers, it's going good. One of those drivers would be Jaden Browder, who is up front, took the race lead away from Joseph Smith, and has kind of checked out and set sail for the time being. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break here for you folks. You guys won't miss a thing, though. You guys are watching the Redemption iRacing Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
You got a great car, great team. Go execute. Start time. We know what we got to do. Stay the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are lit. Count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. Victory, this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag has been ended.
Does he have enough? Holy cow! A dominant performance.
Gotta stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can in one final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Alrighty, welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Redemption iRacing Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Pit stops have started. Jordan Hand currently has the race lead, but he is bringing himself as well as Noah Blackwell, and I believe that's Dylan Carrier back behind him as well. So those three drivers here are currently scored as 1 through 3 coming down pit road, which will then cycle Smith and Browder back to the race lead. So now Smith and Browder gonna cycle their way through to the top two positions. Smith able to get around Browder here under those pit cycles while we're under commercial break. And then I think there's another spin. I think that's a 66 or the 61 again, excuse me. Or is it, it's the 66. So the 66 going for a little bit of another slide here down the back straightaway, able to hang on to it though, and we're going to continue on going. Green flag racing. Xavier Rugglebruggy under the commercial right there. Brought it down back behind the wall. So his night will officially be over, which is unfortunate for Xavier here. After having high hopes from getting 2 wins in a row here from Portland and then Rockingham, looking to make it 3 wins in a row on tonight's race, but unfortunately will not be able to do so. So Smith now with the race lead, looking to put himself back in victory lane after not having been in victory lane since Xavier's really taken that streak, that winning streak over from him. Remember, Smith went on a 2-race win streak before Xavier did. So Smith looking to get back into victory lane, but Jaden Browder, I mean, looking strong here. Obviously lost the lead under pit stops right there, but now he's got some work to be cut out for him as he's about 3 seconds back. We saw him really be good on these long runs, and I think if this race is able to continue to go green, I think Jaden will probably be able to catch Smith. We'll have to see what Smith can do with the clean air that he has currently. This is really the largest lead that we've seen a leader have so far tonight. So we'll see what this clean air can do for Joseph Smith in that 31 car. That's a 20 of Willem Connolly up in view. Frame. He's going to be going a lap down here once Smith catches him. He is currently the last car on the lead lap, which would put 12 cars on the lead lap. Noah Blackwell and John Tiller going at it for 7th. Blackwell able to clear into turns 1 and coming off of 2 will fully be able to clear himself. A nice move right there from Noah Blackwell to be able to send it in on the bottom, hold it on that blue and white line, and then be able to clear Tiller there. Now putting a bit of a gap between him and the 27 car for the time being. Blackwell will have Carrier in front of him in that 88 car. Blackwell running a beautiful line here in 3 and 4. We'll see what he does in 1 and 2. It looks like Blackwell has really been committed to trying to get his car as low on that blue and white line as he possibly can. Some of these other guys seeming to have a little bit more trouble with doing so, and maybe running about half car length or a car length up above that. And right now it looks like Noah just missed the bottom right there in 3 and 4 bit, so he's gonna not gain as much time on the 88 in front of him as he was those past couple laps. But that's something that these drivers have to be able to do, is hook those cars right on that blue and white line. Really, I mean, Noah's doing a great job of it and being right maybe above an inch above it, but I would say you probably would want to get down a little bit closer to it. I know it's a little bit scarier to do at a track like this, where if you hit that apron and you cross over just for a brief second, I mean, your car is gonna probably spin out because of the transition from the banking to that run, like that sort of off run down there on the apron portion. So you got to be careful, but you also want to make speed best you can. And I think a good example of that right now would be Blackwell, who I think is probably running one of the lowest that we've seen, besides our race leader Joseph Smith, who's really been able to hook it quite well in 1 and 2 so far. And like I mentioned earlier, thinking that Jaden would be able to possibly make a run towards Smith here. Well, the gap now down about 1.5 seconds from what it was last time we looked. These guys have a 3-lap pit difference between the two. Browder pitting a bit earlier, or sorry, pitting a bit later than Smith did in that 22. So Smith definitely having a little bit more older tires, and I'm not quite sure how much of a difference that really would make here. It'll obviously always make a difference, but to see Jaden be this successful this early on and be able to close the gap like he's doing, I mean, Smith has probably got to be asking his crew chief and his spotter what this 18 is doing differently than him, because Jaden is setting down some fast laps right now, just a bit quicker than Smith right there that last lap. Browder ran a 31.9 and Smith ran a 32.2, so those laps really separated by a decent amount, and Jaden really showing his long run speed here for the time being. The gap now down under 1 second and closing more from Browder to Smith. Crosby 4.5 seconds back behind him in 3rd position, and then Stange and Jordan Hand will round out the top 5. Ryan Haller rounding out the top 10 and holding that last spot for those stage points. He's got a bit of a task at hand, though, because Michael Vadra behind him is not too far behind in that 11th position. But if Ryan can continue running the laps that he's doing, I mean, I've been looking at the lap times here, and I think that Ryan should be able to hang on to that spot, but it's going to be fairly close because him and the 37 have really been running lap times pretty similar to one another, each one doing their respectful jobs at, or doing their best that they possibly can, doing their best that they possibly can with closing down the gap and then maintaining that gap between one another. So Ryan, I mean, doing a great job so far in that 10th position, but Jaden Browder back up front, I mean, really, I wouldn't say he's stalled out, but you can definitely see that it's kind of evened out from what that speed was earlier. Browder still closing in, but maybe not as much as he originally was. And Smith, you can kind of see running the lane that we see Browder running, about that middle lane in 1 and 2, and then I'd probably say that bottom lane, sometimes it's been about half a car length up in 3 and 4. Just trying to take that clean air away from Jade, who is continuing to close down the gap little by little behind him. We don't typically see the speed here out of Smith really fall off on the long runs, but right now he's under pressure for this top spot. And we've also got the battle going on here for this 9th and 10th position, so We've got a battle for the race lead. We got Ryan trying to hang on to the top 10 to get some points. Smith now maybe getting a little bit of a wiggle there from the air off of the front end of Browder. Off of 4 right there. Smith running a bit higher, trying to get that car back under positioning. Browder just almost able to get a nose inside. Smith doing a great job at running that high side right there and holding him off the exit of the turn. We'll see what happens down here in 3 and 4. Looks like they're going to switch it up. Smith runs low. Browder moves high. Ryan still trying to hang on, trying to get that 9th position away from Tiller. And Michael Badra right behind, looking to put himself in the top 10 before we get this end of stage in about 11 laps time. And for the moment, the race lead has kind of settled down. Ryan able to get clear of Tiller there, so he'll move himself into 8th. Tiller back to 9th. Badra to 10th. Stewart in that 11th position, just 1 point or 1 spot out of getting some stage points, but right now the battle is really on for the race lead, as now Browder able to get another look to the inside here off of 4, able to kind of side draft the left rear quarter panel of Smith, but Smith able to hold strong once again. Smith going to run the top side here in 1 and 2. Browder running the bottom. This is going to be interesting to see if Smith can get a good enough pull down the back straightaway to clear. Yes, he will. So now Smith going to be able to clear himself once again, but he's going to have to set his sights on this next set of turns, because it looks like Browder has been awfully good off the exit of 4. We'll see if it holds true this time. Once again, Smith able to maintain that positioning off at 4. Down the back straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Browder now taking a look. Not quite able to get the full nose inside, so these guys are going to be just barely hanging on to it. A little bit of a slide there off of 2 for Smith. Able to hang on to it, though. A good run off 4 for Browder. We'll see what he does here in 1 and 2. He's all over the back bumper of Smith, and he's going to send it down low. He's going to have to hold it down there, though, because Smith not giving him a whole lot of room off exit. These two are going to be down the back straightaway with the drag race. Once again, Browder just not able to get that nose fully inside, maybe just a pinch inside, but not able to fully be able to be even alongside with Smith. And Smith doing a great job at working that high side and hanging on, but Browder with a good run in 1 and 2, maybe hit that apron just a bit, having to lift just a bit and losing a bit of time now, having to go back behind that 31 of Smith. Once again, Browder able to peek a nose inside when they go into 1 and 2 here. Browder's going to have that inside. We'll see if he can clear up. Yes, he's going to send it in deep. He has to check up, though. That's going to open the door for Joseph Smith to possibly do the crossover. Down the back straightaway they go. Smith, Browder, dead even drag race. We'll see what Smith does here in 3 and 4, trying to set it in a bit deep. Browder sends it in deeper. Those two going to be even once again, and now the roles are flip-flop. Browder going to have that high side advantage. Smith going to have that bottom lane to work with, though. That's a lap car up ahead of them as well. I think that's the 38 of Dallas Stewart. He's going to be a factor here for both these drivers. He could put some dirty air on either one of those drivers and change the whole set of corners. And I think that's what happened out of Smith right there. I think Smith got a little bit dirty air from that 38 car. And that kind of forced Smith to check up and not have the remaining run off of 2. Smith running the high side all the way up against that wall. We'll see what it can do for him here, but Browder doing such a great job on the bottom through 3 and 4 right there. It looks like now Browder going to put a little bit more of a distance between him and Smith. That gap now about a car length and a half, maybe even separated to about 2.5 car lengths. Has a big slide right there for Smith through 1 and 2, trying to get the power down. Not able to get it to stick though. Now going to lose another car length as they head down into 3 and 4. So Browder able to get the race lead like we kind of saw there. Before a green flag pit stop, our first green flag pit stop, we saw Browder really come to life once we kind of hit that 30 lap mark, and doing the same thing again here. Now able to put gap between Smith and himself. That gap continuing to grow. And once these drivers back here take themselves across the line, that'll finish out the stage. Browder going to be able to capture that stage win. Battery able to hang on for that 10th position. So stage win will go to Jaden Browder. Joseph Smith will finish second after almost being able to hang on to the race lead, but unfortunately got it taken away from Browder there at the very end. Christopher Stage with an impressive third place run currently going on. Again, kind of been here all night so far, but Stage been a little bit quiet. We were able to speak to him, I believe, last week at Portland, and right now doing exactly what he needs to do. He's got Jordan Hand behind him in 4th. Hand really has been in this top 5 all season long now. He hasn't really been able to get the finishes that he probably needs. Sometimes he'll have either something happen, whether he gets in an incident or if he gets something happens on the pit road. And I mean, if Hand can continue to put out these top 5 finishers and being able to actually finish where he probably deserves to finish, I think this would be another great night for this 48 in that team. And now Smith making his way down pit road here. That's going to leave Browder to continue to stay out, and we kind of saw Browder stay out a little bit longer than Smith there, those last green flag pit stop cycle. So Smith going to be, I believe, the first taker on the pit road. And the window definitely open from I'm expecting probably majority of these guys will have to come down absolutely in the next 5 to 6 laps. I don't think anybody else can run really that far past behind them, but a lot of these guys now working their way off at pit road after coming to pit road. I think a lot of these top 4 drivers you'll probably see here this lap. Noah Blackwell here trying to get to the inside of Jordan Hand for that second place. Blackwell now going to slot himself into second, Hand back to third. See what a race leader does here. Continuing to stay out for the time being. We'll see if he decides to come down pit road this time by or not. If it's going to be a repeat of what we saw earlier on, I would say he's going to probably pit in the next lap, maybe 2 laps from now, although we'll see if he decides to work his way down pit road here. And yes, he will. So Browder going to work his way down pit road this time by. That'll cycle the race lead to Noah Blackwell. Blackwell in hand, now going to work lap 81, working on lap 82. Blackwell going to try and lead some laps. Browder going to finish up his pit stop here. Right side tires on now, going over to the left side, filling up that car with fuel. He'll be off and away. Looks like no mistakes for this 18 car. He'll have a great pit stop, and we'll see where he cycles out here in just a moment. And Hand and Blackwell now working their way down pit road to their boxes as well. And I think Hand might have had some trouble getting onto pit road there for a second. We'll take a look at it here quick. So Hand, yeah, definitely came in a bit hot right there. Locked it up, went for a slide. A little bit of contact for sure. Able to keep it off the 81 in Noah Blackwell, so I'm sure Noah in that 81 is pretty happy to not be ran over on the entry, but a close call right there for both those drivers. Joseph Smith up at the lead for the time being. Jaden Browder holding up in that second position. Lost a little bit of time, but that is kind of what we expected after the difference between those two on strategies. Smith having a 4-lap difference over Browder here, which kind of has, if you look at the time, you can kind of see it was about 5 seconds when about a lap ago, and it's now just about 4.5 seconds, just under there. So really, I mean, the tire difference, it's definitely going to mean a lot here for these first couple laps for Browder. He should be able to make up some time, but you don't want to over push the car. You don't want to overstep the boundaries. You don't really want to burn those tires off too quickly trying to make up the gap, because you know you have the tire advantage. You know your car is really good on these long runs as well, and really what you just need to do is just put down some decent lap times, either match Smith's lap time or maybe be just a bit quicker, but you don't want to be too much quicker and try and burn off those tires when trying to catch Smith there for the race lead. So Browder looking strong right here early on in this race. Lap 87 working towards 88, top 3, holding strong. Ryan Taylor here looking to go a lap down, I believe, in that 27 red, chrome white and blue car. once he goes a lap down, or if he goes a lap down, that'll put only 8 cars on the lead lap. The 37 would be the next car in a position to go a lap down. Ryan Holler going down a lap there in those green flag cycle pit stops that just took place a moment ago. So Ryan gonna hope for a caution here, and already having let me do this quick. 5 cars out for the time being. Only 89 laps into this race. Remember, Xavier was the first driver to come out of this race with that spin, and unfortunately had a bit of contact with that inside wall. Then we saw Nunes, Blackmore, Crosby, and Nitz also had their issues as well. So not having cautions for some of these guys who have those issues really has kind of changed this race out to be spread out in a way. If we saw those cautions, I'm sure we would have at least seen a little bit different strategy going on right now, and maybe these guys being a little bit closer together. But I mean, Smith just continuing to try and put down some laps. He knows that he's got the 18 closing down on his back bumper, maybe getting some dirty air off the 27 in front of him as well. All right, lap 92 in the books. We're going to go ahead and take a second side-by-side commercial break. You guys will not miss a thing, though, as you are watching the Redemption iRacing Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. We'll execute. Our time. We know what we gotta do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
Fight to the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The after-checks are don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving his guts out. Wheel to wheels, they come to the line. What a victory this will be.
Nobody wants it more than you.
Next flag has been amended.
Does he have enough? Holy cow! A dominant performance.
Gonna stay down, baby. Let's go.
Can you believe what you are seeing? Everybody pushing as hard as they can get in one final shot.
Gotta earn this thing. Run here to the end.
It is all on the table.
A total 500.
Well, you saw it there under the commercial break. Issues going into turn 1 for some drivers. I believe Tiller and I think the 18 of Browder might have made contact, and unfortunately Ryan got the worst end of it. Completely destroyed the front end of this 19 race car, who was going on to have a decent night, and now his night's going to end up on pit road with some heavy damage to that front end machine. Just just unfortunate for Ryan here in this 19. I don't think he really had anything to do with the initial wreck. We'll go ahead and take a look here and see what kind of progressed to lead up to this, but I don't think Ryan really had anything to do with it. Just kind of wrong place, wrong time. Let's go back and take a look though. So the two race leaders racing for the race lead here, Smith, Browder going at it. That's a 27 Tiller right in front, who ends up going around, I think, from contact. I'm not quite sure from who. Oh, it looks like Smith might have made contact with the 27, just barely didn't holler. Just nowhere to go right there. Unfortunately, getting collected in that was the 61 as well, Lucian Thompson. And then, yeah, that's heartbreak for sure for some of these drivers who were looking to have such good runs going inside the top 10, and now having to come down pit road and possibly be done for the night. Let's take another look at it here. So on board with Smith. Yeah, it looks like yeah, that's a hard one to kind of really there's really nothing I don't think Tiller could have probably done differently. I mean, he we'll look at it again here. I mean, you got the 2 leaders side by side in this track. I mean, you really don't have a whole lot to go. He's just trying to run his line. Looks like he might have tried to move up to maybe get out the way, but then once he realized that these two were side by side, just really didn't know where to go, and unfortunately got Smith then hard hit right there for Holler in that 19 car, who unfortunately had nowhere to go with a spinning 31 sliding down in front of him. You see right there is when Smith got into the right rear of Tiller, and fortunately Smith went sliding down right into the path of Ryan, who was trying to just go down and avoid that wreck, but those guys came sliding down too quickly, and Ryan had nowhere to go. The 61 of Lucian Thompson also having nowhere to really go for that. Didn't get as much damage, but Ryan, unfortunately, gonna probably have a night ender here at lap 100. Or lap 98, excuse me. Well, our first caution for an actual incident here. Like I said, we've already seen a few drivers have incidents at this track, but haven't seen the caution. So this will be the first time these drivers really get to restart because of a caution for an incident. Green flag back in the air. We're off and racing. Browder leading the field here into 1 and 2 with a nice restart. He'll be able to clear himself over Smith and Stange. down to lap 104. Browder has it. Smith trying to reel that top position back in, trying to get that race lead after having contact with the lap car of John Taylor. You can kind of see some damage on the left side of Joseph Smith's race car. If you look closely, kind of where that number is and where the front door, and maybe some more contact behind Carrier and Strange. Now going for a slide in the infield. No caution, it looks like. Able to keep it going, but Strange and Carrier now going to lose multiple positions and a loss of a lot of time. And that was the battle going on for that third position. So an incident here once again with no caution, able to keep it going. But now Smith trying to work to the inside of Browder here for the race lead. Side by side going into turns 1 and 2. Browder trying to hold that high side over Smith. Smith working that bottom, not able to get that run to remain to the inside, so he'll have to go back to work in 3 and 4 to try and build a run up. Now a little bit of bump drafting there down that front straightaway. Smith able to get a good run off too. Oh, it looks like Browder had to check up a bit to remain from hitting that outside wall off of 2, and now that's going to open the door for Smith to maybe slide it in. Thought better of it, backed it off. Now Smith losing ground because of that, and Browder going to be able to hang on to the top spot for the time being, as right behind him for 3rd and 4th, they're going at it. Lowry trying to hang on to 3rd. Aiden trying to get that spot away, but he's also under pressure from Jordan Hand in that 5th position. Smith with that damage that could be impacting the way that that car is handling on that left side. You can kind of see where it's crinkled in just a bit on that door number and that kind of lower part of that race car down towards the door. He'll probably need to try and get that fixed if he gets another caution, but you don't want to spend too much time under pit road trying to get it fixed if it's not going to be too much of a major impact to your driving. Now, if it does become more of an issue, he might need to remain on pit road and try and get it fixed. But I think right now, I mean, it's proving to not be too much of an impact. He's able to remain to the back bumper of Browder. But remember, we did see Browder kind of be a little bit slower on these shorter runs and really showcasing his speed on the longer runs, where Smith kind of has the opposite effect, falls off towards that long stint and then has decent short run speed. So it'll be interesting to see how Smith can manage here with that damage currently, as we go back to this 4th and 5th place battle. Aiden and Noah Blackwell going at it down the back straightaway. Blackwell with the inside advantage. See what he can do here. Slides up, maybe gets a little bit tighter underneath Aiden Lucas there in that 34. Again, both those cars running tribute paint schemes to the late Kyle Busch. They're going to remain side by side once again in 1 and 2. These two drivers not able to get away from one another. Now sliding up off of 2, trying to use as much racetrack as he can. That is Noah Blackwell in that 18/81 car, but he's going to lose a bit of momentum because of that. And now Jordan Hand's going to have his look for that position. And then up at the front again, we got a battle for the race lead once again. Smith able to get a good run off, not able to maintain it down the front straightaway. So battle's going on for first, battle going on for that fourth to about fifth, sixth, and seventh position. Aiden has it, but he's got Jordan Hand and Noah Blackwell behind him, and then Michael Badra back there as well. Blackwell getting in the wall there off of 4. Losing some spots now because of that. Blackwell now going to fall back behind Hand and Badra. And now under fire from, I believe that's William Connolly back there in the 20 machine. Yes, it is. William Connolly working himself up, just trying to gain some spots in front of him. He's currently holding that 10th position. Connolly is 1 lap down, excuse me, so he wouldn't be able to get around Blackwell or Stage, but again, trying to at least be the first car 1 lap down. Back up front, though, the lead has kind of settled down. Browder putting distance between him and Smith. Smith not having the speed anymore, kind of having that handling going away. Again, we partly think because of some damage that he received on that left side could possibly be hurting him a bit more. We did see Smith not have the long run speed that Browder in the 18 did, but Browder doing a fantastic job for the time being out front. He's been able to hold off Smith even when under immense pressure and continuing to pull away and just set down some amazing lap times. And if this thing continues to go green, I mean, we'll probably see Smith be able to give Browder another shot for the race win, but Browder looking like he's going to be able to put himself in really good positioning to come out with the win here tonight. And if he's able to get the win here, I mean, I'm sure it would be pretty amazing for him and exciting for that 18 camp. Remember, Smith has really been one of the top factors throughout this season so far. He's got 2 wins on the season. Both those wins coming back-to-back from Texas and Chicagoland, but hasn't seen victory lane in a few weeks, and he's probably hungry to get back in victory lane. But tonight, he's got a tough battle ahead of him as we go back here again. Hand now getting faced from the 37. And Aiden Lucas able to clear those guys out in front. He's moved himself into 4th and kind of been able to maintain that. Just kind of setting sail over the guys battling behind him, who I'm sure he's probably glad that he's not having to deal with these guys, because these guys racing pretty aggressively and haven't really still sorted it out, all running within about a car length or less of one another. And looking back from Jordan Hand's onboard, then Michael having a little bit of dirty air right there, had to check up, lost a bit of ground, lost another maybe car length or 2. Put him back into the hands of Noah Blackwell. Michael in the 37, just trying to get some clean air, trying to find some speed to get around Jordan Hand. Washing up a little bit there through 1 and 2. Not able to get it held down quite as good as Hand is right now. Hand doing a great job at being able to put dirty air and hold his positioning. But again, like I said, he's got some hungry drivers behind him, and these guys will definitely definitely have to make another pit stop here before this thing is all said and done. And now it will be close. I don't know if we'll have to take a full thing of fuel. They probably will take full tires, or 4 tires and full fuel, but it'll be interesting to see how this strategy plays out. I do think we'll probably see Smith come down pit road a bit earlier, like we have seen him so far in this race over Browder. The rest of the field kind of just pitting when other drivers around him are pitting and really just adjusting themselves off the bat. But with coming around to 125, lap 125, which would give us 25 laps to go. I mean, the laps are winding down here in tonight's 150 lap race, and without a caution, this race could be in the hands of Jaden Browder. With 8 cars on the lead lap, Christopher Stange, the last car, currently right in front of race leader Jaden Browder. That would put 7 cars on the lead lap. And once pit stops start, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how these guys shake it up. And again, like I said, the last thing you need to do is have some sort of mishap on pit road. You don't want to speed. You don't want to force yourself into any sort of mistakes here. Really, what you need to do is have a perfect pit road. And if you're a crew chief or if you're a spotter on top of your box, even if you're an owner, you're probably trying to tell your driver, no mistakes here when working pit road. You need to have a pretty perfect pit stop and be able to get in and out as quick as you possibly can. .23 laps to go. Don't go anywhere. After the conclusion of this race, we will have post-race coverage. Again, that'll start after the checkered flag waves. You'll be able to listen to your top 3 drivers who come out with the top 3 finish. And then we'll be able to break down the race a bit and go over some information about tonight's race and look on to next weekend, really what the season holds for this league. Right now, though, Browder continuing to click down these laps. 22 laps to go, coming to 21 laps to go this time by. Again, these drivers still more than likely going to need to make at least a final pit stop. Riding on board now with Jaden Browder here. We'll be able to see what he's doing here around this racetrack with 20 laps to go. Lap car in front, that's Christopher Stange, currently running in 6th. I mean, and you just watch the hands from this onboard cam as well. And you can just see how steady those hands are inside this race car. Able to get it all the way down on the blue and white line right there. Held it really good. Able to extend out towards the wall, hold that momentum off the exit. Now going back into 1 and 2. Looks like he's going to run a bit higher. up against that wall, just really working on throttle control best he can, working alongside Stage, who's now going down a lap. Yeah, a fantastic driving here by Jaden Browder all night so far, especially on these long runs. I mean, really hasn't been able to have that long run speed, but you know, if this thing goes green for these next 18 laps, it'll be interesting to see how he can kind of just maintain his gap, maintain his distance. If we do see a caution and we do have a short run, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he can do on these shorter runs. Again, not having the speed on these shorter runs, really aiming for the longer runs. This is a fixed setup, so not really able to make too many adjustments from inside that race car, but any caution from this point on would really change the name of the game, and pit stops continuing to happen here. They started a few laps ago. Top four currently still out on the track. Joseph Smith came down pit road, was one of the earlier takers. Or I'm sorry, not Smith. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong driver. No, Blackwell, excuse me. No, Blackwell was one of the earlier drivers from inside like the top 6, top 7 mark. Smith still out on track, just losing a little bit of time here. Again, we think because of that damage that he had that he had received from that incident with the 27 of John Taylor, as well as sort of the 18 of Jaden Browder here going into one. Browder to caution, and 15 laps to go this time by. Smith, Lowry, Lucas, and Browder, your current top 4, remaining on the lead lap. Now we're going to go ahead and bring a quick little look ahead into the future. Next week, we head to Darlington Raceway, which will be the throwback race for these drivers. It'll be pretty cool and interesting to see what these drivers decide to bring out for the race next week. That'll be right here on Turn Sector Media. Again, it's going to be a throwback race, so drivers will probably be doing some cool throwback designs to either their favorite drivers. That'll be 150 laps, kind of same thing, same deal from tonight. 150 laps in total. Stage will be at 75, so really just a tougher track to have to do it on. But again, hopefully we'll be able to see some cool paint schemes out on track next weekend. If Browder is able to come home with the win here in these next 12 laps. So far with these drivers, it looks to be like these drivers go 2 in a row for the most part, so we'll have to see if Browder can continue that hot streak, as now we see a caution out on the track. And it looks like it involves the 37 of Michael Vadra here. Hard contact into that inside wall after I think he got up into that outside wall. So a caution here late in this race is going to put on a heck of a show when these drivers get the restart. Now the 37 is going to come to a stop. He's going to put that window net down, and unfortunately I think he's not going to be able to continue on some hard contact with that left front tire. So a game changer here late in this race, and like I mentioned, it would be pretty interesting to see what Browder can do on these short runs. Again, not having that short run speed, more so having longer run speed. This is going to be an interesting little stint to the finish, and at this point in time, with only, I think we really don't have anybody on the lead lap except for Browder himself. So a lot of these guys probably gonna come take the wave around, guys who just pitted as well. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what these drivers do. But Browder gonna take himself down pit road. He's gonna come to the attention of his pit crew. Yeah, I'm going to have that first pit stall, and he's going to be the only one on pit road. So while these guys go ahead and do his pit stop, let's go ahead and take a look at this incident. Oh, something happened with the 38 that collected him. That's Dallas Stewart there. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there. Let's see if we can take another look here. I think we have to go back a little bit sooner. I'm not quite sure how far back I have to go to see what happened with the 38 here. And Dallas has had a rough night so far, having some damage from an earlier incident. Just kind of turning laps at this point. Let's see what happened here. Maybe some contact, possibly. I'm not quite sure. Oh, just hit that inside wall entering one. Just tried to lock it up and then came up the track and collected the 37 car. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if there's maybe something that broke on that race car, because he just went straight towards the outside wall, tried to keep it locked up and avoid coming back out on track, and then unfortunately just collected the 37 right there. Yeah, I'm assuming something had to have broke on that car. I mean, we'll ride along with Michael here, who had no idea this was going on, and unfortunately just a victim. Just a hard hit right there. And just completely destroyed the front end of this 37 machine, and now having to tow it down pit road after running inside the top 10. His night's pretty over, unfortunately, for the 37. And again, not quite sure if there's maybe a mechanical issue on the 38 here, but either way, hard contact with the outside wall, and again, tried to keep it locked down, trying to keep it off the racetrack, and just collected the 37. Luckily didn't collect anybody else, but wow, what a change of events here in this late portion of this race. So a little interesting look here because of how the pit stops played out and everybody was a lap down. It's going to be really single file, and we got a wreck here. That's the 27, I believe, of John Taylor, who goes around on the restart. And I was just going to say, it's a pretty interesting restart here because of the drivers who took the wave around, or who got, and the lucky dog and all this stuff, just trying to play into effect, single file these guys out. And this is going to allow these guys to come down pit road who maybe didn't get a chance to come down pit road there. Now everyone who decided to take the wave around is on the lead lap. They'll be able to come down, take some tires, and then set themselves up for this restart once again here. But wow, what a crazy turn of events here in these last couple of laps, when we looked like Jaden Browder was pretty much going to have this thing in the book, and then a late caution right there that we just looked at between Badra and Stewart bring out a caution here with about 12 laps to go, and then this caution right here on this restart when trying to get going, that's going to shake up the field once again, and these guys are going to be on a pretty even field once again. So these guys having a shot at the race. Is not quite over yet. Smith going to come out down pit road, get his tires. Remember, he did not get a pit that last caution because he was a lap down, but now he'll be able to get his tires, and he'll also be able to spend some time on pit road, maybe getting some of that damage fixed. Jaden Browder, I mean, right now, though, hanging on to the race lead, but he's going to have a handful here on this restart. And he's got some drivers behind him who are hungry for a win. You got Noah Blackwell here in this 18, even though he is scored as the 81. You also have Aiden Lucas back here in third, currently in this 34, who is on pretty much the same strategy as our race leader. So he'll be able to stick probably with the race leader if he's able to get a good restart. Then you have Dylan Carrier back here in fourth, who is on 30 lap old tires. So he's definitely going to have a hard time here if he decides to continue to stay out, which it looks like he is. So Dylan Carrier, watch out for him. Tire spin is definitely going to be an issue on those tires. We'll take a quick look here at that last restart, though, before we go back green. So obviously these guys single filed out. Some older tires just trying to get it going. Looks like some tire spin and just unable to get it locked and planted on the track on the restart. Take a look at it again here. So you can see him kind of start to accelerate right here. Wasn't able to get it stick. You see that back end start to come around, and unfortunately wasn't able to get it fully planted with the rear end and just went around, and that's what brings out the caution here on this quick restart. And actually, Smith looks like he got a piece of that as well. Doesn't look like there's too much damage though to Smith, but that's probably part of the reason why he came down pit road. Just wanted to make sure that there was no damage under that hood. You do see a little bit of right rear damage from probably hitting that outside wall, but nothing too crazy. So he should still be able to maybe contend for the win, or at least a decent finish here. While pace car is pulling off a pit road, starters got the green flag in hand once again. These guys going to be coming around to 4 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. A good restart for these guys this time. Doesn't look like a whole lot of tire spin. Browder going to lead them into 1. But here comes Aiden Lucas working his way up to second. He's going to put himself on the back bumper of the race leader. Down the back straightaway they go. Aiden looks low, looks high, gets blocked. He's now going to search high as they head into turns 3 and 4, trying to get a run built up. Lucas trying to do all that he can. 3 laps to go this time by. These two have pulled away from the rest of the field, and now it's going to be decided between these two more than likely. Aiden looks to the low side. Browder has the high side. We'll see if Lucas can maybe send it into 3 and 4 here. Maybe clear up. He gets a bit tight, washes up, has to lift out of it. Now getting back behind Browder for the time being. Smith moves himself into 3rd. 2 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Lucas running high, trying to get some speed built up once again. Browder, though, hanging on to the top spot. These guys will see the white flag in the air this time by. White flag one more time around for Jaden Browder. Lucas has one more shot at the win. He has to have a really good 1 and 2, but then he also needs a good 3 and 4. And right now he sits about a car length and a half back from the race leader. We'll see if he can maybe try and put something together down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. But it looks like he's going to be a little too far back. And coming off of turn number 4, Jaden Browder will see the checkered flag and capture the race win over Aiden Lucas and Joseph Smith. Jaden getting some congratulatory little celebration bumps right there. And that's Noah Blackwell coming up. Aiden Lucas also giving him congratulations. So Jaden going to come around to the start-finish line and celebrate with the crowd, celebrate his win. He's going to go ahead and burn it down here. We'll give these drivers a second to get in and ready to get interviewed. Again, post-race coverage starting right now here. And we'll be able to speak to some of these drivers in just a moment. Again, just waiting on some of these guys to hop in the interview waiting room, and then we'll be able to drag him up and be able to speak with him here in just a second. What a fantastic race, though, and a great job there by Jaden Browder to be able to hang on to that race and be able to come out with the race win. We know that his short run speed was a little bit questionable, but able to put it together right there at the end and come home with the victory. All right, again, it looks like we are now able to get some of these drivers into the booth, I believe. Again, sorry, folks. Just giving these drivers a minute to get in here, and then we'll be able to speak with them. There we go. Jaden Browder, congrats on the race win. Able to pull it off there on those last couple of restarts, but it looked like you might have had a little bit of a challenge from Aiden there at the very end. Tell me a little bit about how you're able to find that short run speed there at the end after looking to be so dominant on the long runs.
Yeah, got a little loose on the restart off of 2 and allowed him to get a run. And then I think the inside, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. So I gave him the inside. So he got a few runs. But once I was able to get cleared, it was not easy, but I feel like I could push hard enough to where I wouldn't be wrecking loose or wrecking tight. And just allowed me to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, and you talk about, trying to really just maintain and having, those things where you maybe get a little bit loose or a little bit tight and still needing to compose yourself to come home with the win. But there was a moment there where you and Smith are racing, a little bit of a scary moment where Smith and I think it was Taylor made contact, the 27 car, and that happened right in front of you, and that was really close to being a night changer for you, but able to avoid that incident. I mean, really, was there any certain point in your, at that time that could have been a lot closer than it actually was, or was it just kind of something where you kind of saw it, but you didn't exactly know what happened?
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. I just looked like, to me, the lap car just cleared himself, and I was pretty lucky that I didn't collect me. I don't think it damaged Joseph too much, but still kind of sucks for him. It'd be fun to battle for the win with him, but overall it's a great race. I think strategy worked out really well, especially on the long runs. So yeah, great race.
Yeah, great race indeed it was, and I'm assuming you'll be back here for Darlington next week, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, I do want to say that there has been a trend so far these past about 5 races or so where Smith was able to go back-to-back, then Xavier was able to go back-to-back, and so far you're able to get one of the two. So what does Darlington look like for you, and what do you think your night would look like for that track next week?
I think Darlington's going to be a good track for me. I typically usually get at those 1.5-ish tracks, kind of that race like 1.5 miles. And Darlington's mainly just about racing the track, not other people. So just got to be careful, especially on the long runs there, not hitting the wall or doing something stupid off exit of the corners.
And that's a big part of that track is, trying to just race the racetrack. Darlington, such a tricky track to really manage. And like you said, it's 1.5 miles, but it's a different type of 1.5 miles. And hopefully we can be able to see you do good next week. And I don't want to hold you up for too long. I want you to go celebrate the win and be able to kind of just take a breather. But before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shouts you'd like to give?
Thank Aiden Lucas. He's one of my teammates in my other league and now in this. So thanks to him, running practice with him. LHR team, Fish Speed. You got Matthew Wood. All those guys that race in wheel to wheel in that league. A bunch of those guys helped me out. So thanks to them.
Alrighty, Jane. Thanks again for taking a moment to speak with us. Congrats on your win here at Charlotte, and hopefully talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. I'll see you then.
That was the race winner. Let's go ahead and move on to Joseph Smith, who finished third in tonight's race. Kind of an up and down race for Joseph Smith here. Had that incident with the 27 when trying to get around him, which gave you a bit of damage and kind of maybe set you back a little bit out on track, but able to rebound with a third place finish. I mean, tell me a little bit about your night and what maybe you needed to have go differently besides that contact with the 27 to maybe get around the 18 car.
Well, I don't know what I couldn't find on the long run, so I tried to play a strategy where I could get ahead and then make him close the gap, and I feel like it would have worked, but lap car just don't move out the way. So yeah, it sucks. I mean, he probably would have won anyway. He was super fast. I raced with him in another league, but yeah, my shot was just it was gonna go down to 15 to go or around that mark with the fuel, and if I could get a big enough gap and make sure he doesn't close it fast enough in those 15, maybe I could have won. But again, then the lap car spoiled it, and then I tried it again, and then we brought out a caution. So yeah, we were out of tires. So the Jaden stayed out. He was able to have the freshest tires on the field, and then he's already the fastest. So it's kind of just get as high as I could at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, again, unfortunately for your night, not ending the way that you would like, but still overall a good night for points wise and a good third place finish. As you head into Darlington, what does Darlington look like for you as the 31 team?
Darlington's one of my stronger tracks, so I'm a little confident going in it. I don't know how the tires are gonna be. I haven't raced there in a while, so just gonna have to put in a good amount of practice. Um, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Again, it's one of my better tracks, so just keep my head down and work harder towards it.
Alrighty, Joseph, before I let you go, is there any sponsors you'd like to thank or any shout outs you'd like to give?
I want to thank my sponsor, Fish Speed. Shout out to all my teammates and all my family and friends who watch at home.
Alrighty, Joseph, thanks for taking a moment to speak with us.
Thank you.
A disappointing night there for Joseph Smith, who was able to rebound to third, but you can just hear the disappointment in his voice. Again, contending for the race win there, but unfortunately getting caught up with an incident there with a lap car and not able to really have that night that was going so good for him there at about the lap. I think it was about the lap 132 mark. We'll take a look at it. We'll try and get it pulled up here in just a second so we can take a look at it again. But overall, again, disappointment. You can definitely hear the disappointment in his voice, and unfortunately, not the night that Smith wanted. Let's go ahead and get our second place driver, Aiden Lucas, up here. Aiden, you're able to come home with a second place finish. A great night there and almost had a shot for the win. Just not able to come up with that momentum that you need to get around Browder for the race win. But again, tell me a little bit about your night and really what was going through your mind on that last restart and what really maybe you needed to have go differently or maybe, do different, just a bit different to get around that 18 car.
Man, it was a long night. First pit stop, forgot to check the tires, and had to come back down a couple laps later. And now after that, it was just about hanging your tongue out and just trying to drive the wheels off of the thing. Finally got a break, got the caution I needed, got the lucky dog, and then just I think I got up to third. Then me and the I want to say the 35 Kenneth were racing pretty hard, and then we get another caution. And then, yeah, just got lucky when I pitted. Was able to get the free pass, have the second freshest tires in the field. And after that, I was just like, all right, I got to time this restart up right. Got to make sure that I am on Browder's butt going into one. And, man, we almost had it. Almost.
Yeah, so close. And again, not not that there was really anything that probably could have gotten much different. I mean, this track's so difficult to move on. And again, you kind of mentioned you had the same tire set kind of stint that you had compared to Browder, but with the field kind of like being spread out and there not really being a bunch of cars on track. I mean, it was definitely a little bit difficult for you to possibly have that little bit momentum behind you that you could have used. But either way, a great night for you in this 34 team. And also, I want to point out you definitely running one of probably what I would say, in my opinion, is one of the best Kyle Busch throwback paint schemes in that bright green M&M's paint scheme. I know, we're going to talk about it for probably weeks to come, and we talked about it a bit in tonight's race, but running that lovely tribute scheme, and really just talk about that and what your how that came to be for you, and why exactly that car and maybe not maybe one of his other amazing cars.
Yeah, well, I think I'm like most NASCAR fans. You love to hate KB, um, but definitely when he went to RCR, I got the gear from 2023, full gear, just you know. But yeah, I was there 2015 Sonoma. I think it was like his second win back or whatever after he broke his leg. And yeah, that paint scheme always stuck out to me. And people say green race cars are bad luck. And then you just go point at old KFB over there and say, hey, he missed 11 races and won a championship in a green race car. I mean, it's awesome. And man, that's such a tragedy. What happened on Thursday. Such a legend of the sport and just such an important figure. Like I was talking to a couple of my buddies earlier this week or earlier today actually, and out of my entire life, I want to say there's maybe 15 Cup races that didn't have Kyle Busch in it. So yeah, when I got the news on Thursday, it was like a ton of bricks for sure.
Yeah, that it definitely was indeed, and again, still going to be probably mourning this one for a while to come. And um, when we look on to the future and heading to Darlington, I don't want to like spoil anything, but is there a certain throwback scheme that you have in mind for that race next week?
Um, no, not yet. I mean, the Candyman had so many good schemes, man. It's going to be hard to pick a favorite, especially being the 34, kind of an odd number, but maybe I'll run one of the 54 schemes with that font that he made so famous. Ah, man, just a lot of really good schemes.
That there is indeed. And Aiden, I don't want to hold you up for too much longer here. I do want to say congrats on the second place finish again. An outstanding night. Before I let you go, though, is there any sponsors or any shout outs you'd like to give?
Oh, I mean, first time talking to you, Oscar, so that's always cool. Thank you for bringing the show to the people. Thank you to the Redemption admins. Come on, come on, come on. Dylan, Jordan, Connolly, Dallas. I know Noah kind of does his thing, but, grateful for him sponsoring the league. Oh, excuse me. Congratulations, Jaden Browder. First win, first race. One of my great buddies, so it's cool to see him win. And yeah, man, LHR, my race team, Lucas Huey Racing, Kagan, Jaden Browder, and oh man, Michael Boyles. That's who it is. Crew member of the 77 ARCA car. So whenever you see that 77 in Victory Lane, shout out my boy Mike. And most importantly, go Blobs.
Alrighty, Aiden, thanks for taking my minute to speak with us there. Can't or I guess I can't wait to see how this season turns out for you. You've been having some momentum on your side recently, and hopefully speak with you again next week.
Yeah, man, that's the goal. Thank you.
All right, that was third place driver Aiden Lucas there, rounding out the top three. A great night for Aiden. Or sorry, I said second place finisher. Excuse me, second place finisher Aiden Lucas, rounding out the top three there for the interviews. I think Aiden is really knocking on the door of getting a win here shortly. Definitely was able to get that caution that helped him out a bit and put him in position to maybe almost so close get that win away from Browder. But Browder, I mean, lights out, fantastic all night through this race tonight, and was able to capitalize on every restart and put himself in victory lane at the end when he needed to. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this incident, which involved the 27 car. See if maybe we can go back to it here. Well, I'm not quite sure if I can. There we go. So, yeah, this is the incident that Smith and Browder were I wouldn't say Browder was a part of it, but he was right there. And the incident that Smith is referring to, and not really pleased with how the outcome came out to be. But again, like I said, it's just such a difficult thing here with the leaders side by side behind you, and you're a lap car trying to get out the way, but also not really be in the way. It's just such a hard thing to really be in position of. And it's just such a hard thing. And I'm sure both these drivers will probably look back at it and try and figure out what they maybe could have done differently. And I mean, it's just a hard thing and a hard spot to be in. And again, unfortunately for Smith, he got that damage that really affected him and hurt his night. And talking to him kind of just set his night down, like started to go downhill for him. But yeah, just an unfortunate event right there. And then Ryan right there getting caught up in the wreck as well. Unfortunately, not having that night that was going to go his way. So yeah, just unfortunate circumstances here for a lot of these drivers in this race here tonight. Some drivers that looked like they were going to be in maybe position to put themselves in for the race win. And then now, I mean, having that early exit for some of these drivers because of that, because of those incidents that these drivers had. So a little bit of a chaotic night, to be quite honest with you guys. There was a lot of ups and downs for a lot of these drivers. And again, Browder able to come home with it and be able to put himself in the correct positions winning too. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the full race results here. Jaden Browder obviously getting the race win. Eden Lucas finishing second, who we just spoke to a few moments ago. Joseph Smith with the disappointing third place finish. Then Jordan Hand and Kenneth Lowry rounding out the top five. Noah Blackwell finishing sixth, Dylan running in that seventh at the end. William Connolly in eighth, Chris Stange, and then John Taylor running out the top 10. Then moving on to the rest of the field, Michael Badra, Dallas Stewart, Lucian Thompson, then Ryan Holler. Again, Ryan Holler, we just took a look at a few moments ago, getting caught up in that incident with Smith, and then as well as Taylor, unfortunately finishing 53 laps down on the night. Then John Crosby, Ben Nitz, Cody Blackmore, Joshua Nunez, each one of those drivers having an incident as well. We were ruggling to start that would be then South the real, unfortunately finishing 127 laps down in that 19th and final position. Now, like I said, we look on to next week at Darlington Raceway for the throwback race in the Redemption iRacing Series. Can't wait to get back out here with these guys. I'm sure we're going to see some interesting throwbacks and some cool ones to be, I guess not interesting, but more cool throwback ones. And I don't really have anything else to add, to be quite honest with you. I mean, chaotic night for some drivers. Xavier, like I said just a moment ago, having one of the probably disappointing nights. Joseph Smith also not happy with how things went for him. Ryan probably a bit disappointed and unhappy as well. So a lot of these drivers not having the nights that they either wanted or needed, and are going to need to head into Darlington with an open mindset and be able to rebound from tonight's race. Before we get out of here, though, I just want to say a big thank you to you guys again. I'm Oscar Jensen here in the booth for Turn Sector Media, bringing you guys the racing here from tonight's race. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Once again, that's at Darlington Raceway, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, evening, day, morning, whatever it may be for you. Once again, this was the Redemption iRacing Series live from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and we'll see you guys next week from Darlington Raceway.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Got a great car, great team. Let's go execute. Start time. We know what we got to do. Stay in the fight between the walls.
Time to turn the intensity up.
We'll fight till the end, no matter what happens. Good day to be in victory lane.
Green flag is in the air. Driving with conviction.
Side by side, hammer down.
The afterchecks are lit. Don't count out anybody. Who wants it the most?
We are eyes on the leader now.
He is driving